Earth is dying, not slowly, not peacefully. The planet is being altered at a speed that has no comparison in the entire 4.5 billion year history of this world. The atmosphere is shifting. The oceans are warming. Ecosystems that took millions of years to assemble are collapsing in decades. And yet the strangest part of all this is not the change itself. It is that Earth has survived catastrophes before. 5 times in the deep past, life on this planet was nearly erased. Asteroids, supervolcanoes, ice ages that buried continents under kilometers of frozen silence. Each time the planet endured. Each time life returned. So when scientists today say something strange is happening to Earth, they are not speaking of ordinary disruption. They are speaking of something that has never occurred in the entire known history of this world. A planetary transformation driven by a single species. And the consequences are not arriving in some distant future. They are unfolding right now beneath your feet, above your head, and in the visible chemistry of the air you are breathing at this very moment. To understand what is happening, you need to understand how stable Earth has been. For the last 10,000 years, this planet existed in a condition scientists call the Holocene, a rare window of geological calm. Temperatures remained within a narrow band. Rainfall patterns were predictable. Coastlines stayed where they were. Glaciers held their shape across centuries. This stability was not accidental. It was the product of a perfectly balanced planetary system maintained by ocean currents, atmospheric chemistry, and the slow breathing of forests across entire continents. It was inside this stable window that human civilization was born. Agriculture became possible because seasons were reliable. Cities rose because coastlines did not move. Trade routes formed because rivers ran where they always had. Every structure of human society, every food system, every capital city, every agricultural plain was built on the assumption that Earth would remain essentially as it was. That assumption is now breaking down. The Holocene is ending. Scientists have given the new era a name, the Anthroposcene, the age of humans, and unlike every other geological era in Earth's history, this one was not triggered by a comet or a volcanic superplume or a shift in the planet's orbit. It was triggered by a species that discovered how to burn ancient sunlight locked underground and released it all at once into the sky. In geological terms, what has happened in the last 200 years is instantaneous. It is a flash, a blink, and yet inside that blink, the chemistry of Earth's atmosphere has been rewritten. Right now, the concentration of carbon dioxide in Earth's atmosphere has reached levels not seen in over 3 million years. Not since before humans existed, not since before the great ice ages carved the continents. 3 million years ago, the Arctic was a forest. Sea levels were 15 to 20 meters higher than today, and the world was between 2 and 4 degrees warmer than the one you are standing in right now. This is where Earth is heading, not as a possibility, not as a worst-case projection, as the destination encoded in the chemistry of the atmosphere today, even if every industrial process stopped completely by tomorrow morning. The changes already set in motion cannot be reversed on any human timescale. The heat being absorbed by the oceans, the glaciers already losing mass, the permafrost beginning to thaw across Siberia and Alaska. These processes have their own momentum now, but they have not fully arrived yet. What makes the situation strange is not only what is happening. It is the gap between what we can measure and what we can feel. Most humans alive today will tell you that the climate seems slightly warmer, that summers are longer, that fires have become more common, that perception dramatically understates the scale of what the instruments are recording. Ocean heat content has increased every single decade since measurements began. The last 10 years were the 10 hottest in recorded history. The Greenland ice sheet is losing mass at a rate 6 times faster than it was in the 1990s. The Amazon rainforest, which produces roughly 20% of Earth's oxygen and regulates rainfall across an entire hemisphere, is now releasing more carbon dioxide than it absorbs in some regions. The system is beginning to reverse itself. Here is where Earth's situation becomes genuinely alarming. Climate is not a single dial you can turn up or down. It is a network of interconnected systems, each one influencing the others in ways that can accelerate change far beyond any single cause. Scientists call these feedback loops, and several of the most powerful ones have already been activated. Consider the Arctic. Sea ice reflects sunlight back into space. When it melts, dark ocean water absorbs that heat instead. More heat means more melting. More melting means more heat absorption. The Arctic is now warming 4 times faster than the rest of the planet. This is not a prediction. It is a measurement. The feedback loop is already running. Or consider the permafrost. Beneath the frozen soil of Siberia, Canada, and Alaska lies an estimated 1.5 trillion tons of organic carbon, the frozen remains of ancient ecosystems. As temperatures rise, this permafrost thaws. As it thaws, it releases methane and carbon dioxide. Those gases warm the atmosphere further. A warmer atmosphere thaws more permafrost. Scientists estimate that full permafrost thaw could release carbon equivalent to burning all the world's forests twice over. This is not a distant threat. Permafrost thaw is already accelerating. And then there is the ocean circulation system, the great conveyor belt of currents that moves warm water from the tropics toward the poles and pulls cold water back toward the equator. This system regulates temperature across entire continents. It keeps Europe warm. It drives monsoon rains across Asia and Africa. Research published in the last several years suggests this system is the weakest it has been in over 1,000 years, possibly approaching a tipping point that, once crossed, cannot be reversed on any human timescale. When these systems influence each other, the planet does not change gradually. It jumps. Science has a word for what happens when interconnected systems reach a critical point. Tipping. A tipping point is not like a gradual slope. It is more like a cliff edge you cannot see until you are already at it. Before the edge, the system responds normally to pressure. Push it a little, it moves a little, but at a certain threshold, something shifts. The system reorganizes itself into an entirely different state, and it does not reorganize back simply because the pressure is removed. The terrifying reality is that nobody knows exactly where Earth's tipping points are. We can identify them in theory. We can model them in simulations. We can watch for signs in the data. But the precise temperature or the exact atmospheric concentration at which, say, the West Antarctic ice sheet commits to full collapse, or the Amazon shifts permanently from rainforest to savanna, or the Atlantic circulation system shuts down, these thresholds cannot be pinpointed in advance. We will know them when we cross them. Some researchers believe we may have already crossed the first of them. A landmark study published in 2022 identified 9 major Earth system tipping points. The analysis concluded that 4 of them may already be destabilized at the current level of warming, not triggered to completion, but pushed past the point of stable return, set in motion toward a new state that will take centuries to fully express itself. The planet is already responding to decisions made decades ago. The deepest strangeness in what is happening to Earth is not the scale of the change, it is the speed. Past climate shifts on Earth have been dramatic. The planet has been a snowball. It has been a tropical hothouse. Continents have drifted and collided. But those transformations unfolded across millions of years. Life had time to adapt, migrate, or evolve in response. Species could track the changing climate, following suitable conditions as the planet slowly shifted. What is happening now gives life no such dial. The current rate of warming is estimated to be 10 times faster than any natural climate shift in the last 65 million years. Some ecosystems cannot migrate fast enough. Some species cannot evolve quickly enough. The result is a biodiversity collapse happening in parallel with the climate transformation, each one accelerating the other. Coral reefs, which support roughly 25% of all marine species, have experienced mass bleaching events in every ocean on Earth. Insect populations in some regions have declined by over 70% in the last 3 decades. Scientists now describe the current period as a sixth mass extinction event, the first one in Earth's history caused not by a cosmic impact or a geological catastrophe, but by the behavior of a single species. There is no historical analogy for this. No previous civilization confronted a planetary boundary. But here is the part that matters most. The same species causing this transformation is also the only one capable of understanding it. No other organism on Earth can read ice cores and reconstruct the climate of 3 million years ago. No other creature can build instruments sensitive enough to detect a fraction of a degree of warming across an entire ocean. No other form of life has ever been able to look at a planet from the outside, model its future states, and make conscious decisions about which future to create. This is what makes a present moment so strange and so significant. Earth is not simply changing. It is changing in full view of a species capable of witnessing, measuring, and potentially responding to that change. The question is not whether we understand what is happening. We do. The question is whether understanding alone is enough to alter the trajectory. Scientists have identified the pathways to stabilization: renewable energy, reforestation, changes to food systems, protection of remaining ecosystems. The technical capability exists. The scientific clarity exists. What exists less clearly is the collective will to move at the speed the situation requires. The planet is sending the same signal from every direction, from the melting ice, the warming seas, the destabilized weather systems, the shifting seasons. Something strange is happening to Earth, and unlike every previous transformation this planet has endured, this one will be shaped not by geology or astronomy, but by the choices made by the conscious life that evolved on its surface. For a brief moment in Earth's long history, the planet is being observed and understood by the very force that is changing it. What we do with that understanding may be the most important thing our species ever decides.